Hello Year 7. You should be onto your worksheets for one-step equations. This is week 2, lesson 5, so hopefully I can help you to understand how to complete the answers. Anyway, the textbook uses a different approach to solving equations, so you can go to the text, which is Jack Plus 7, topic 13, pages 494 to 502 if you need to see a few more examples completed. Anyway, on your worksheet, one-step equations 1, question 1. Solve the following one-step equations. You look at it and one-step equations, you're looking for the unknown, which is usually written as a letter. So in this one, x plus 9 equals 14. X is the letter. It's the one that represents a number. So we want to get rid of the plus 9. So if you circle the plus 9 and you think to yourself, what's the opposite of adding 9? You say, well, it's take 9. What you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other. So you take 9 from both sides. The part that I circled we're getting rid of, and 9 minus 9 is 0. So we're left with x on its own. X equals 14 minus 9. And you look at that and you say, well, 14 minus 9 equals 5. So that way you get your answer, x equals 5. Let's go to another question. Let's go to an addition. So we'll have a look at the last one. So we've got 8 plus x equals 24. And you say to yourself, well, to get x on its own, I need to get rid of the 8. The 8 is a positive because 8 on its own, it's always plus 8. If it hasn't got a sign, it's a positive. Anyway, the opposite of adding 8 is taking 8. So you take 8 from both sides. We know that the bit we circled we're getting rid of because 8 take 8 is 0. So x is on its own. X equals 24 minus 8. And you calculate that. You can use a calculator if you want. 24 minus 8 is 16. So therefore, we can do addition, subtraction. Let's see it again in question 2. Same thing, exactly the same. Let's have a look at A. In question A plus 16 equals 34. The letter is what we need to find, what number it represents. So we need to get rid of the 16. The opposite of adding 16 is taking 16. Which we must do to both sides of the equation. And we know 16 take 16 equals 0. So A is on its own. A equals 34 minus 16. And if you get your calculator, and I actually have one here to show you. So we've got 34 minus 16 equals, I don't know if you can see that, there you go, equals 18. So that gets your answer. Let's go to another one. Let's go to a subtraction problem. I think we'll look at this one here. So x minus 71 equals 89. So you say to yourself, well, I've got to get x on its own to find out its value. So I must get rid of the minus 71. The opposite of taking 71 is adding it. So once again, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. You must add it. And the part that we circled, we're getting rid of. So 70 minus 71 plus 71 is 0, so we can cancel it off. So we've got x equals 89 plus 71. So once again, you get your calculator, cancel off your last answer, and you write 89 plus 71 equals, and there's your answer, 160. So your answer is 160. So hopefully you can solve addition and subtraction problems. Once again, if you don't know how to complete it still, go to the text, Jack plus 7, have a look through pages 494 to 502. If you still don't understand, then you can call your teacher at school. Let's turn over the page. This time we're looking at multiplication and division. So, in A, we've got 4 times x equals 32. We don't usually write the multiplication sign when you've got a number and a letter. But in this case, you're quite welcome to write it out so you remember. You want to get rid of the 4. It's multiplying the x. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is divide by 4. So you write divide by 4 once again on both sides of the equation. And we know 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is just x. When we write it, we don't usually write the 1. So we get x equals 32 divided by 4. Once again, you can use your calculator if you really want to. Cancel the last one. So we've got 32 divided by 4 and equals, and you get 8. So, you know what your answer is. X equals 8. So that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Let's go on to a division. Here we've got one here. M divided by 8 equals 12. You can write that out. M divided by 8 equals 12, just so you remember. M divided by 8 equals 12. We want to get rid of the divide by 8, so we circle it. And the opposite of that is multiply. So multiply by 8. We must do that to both sides. If you've got 8 and you divide 8, that equals 1. So 1m still equals m. So we get m equals 12 times 8. Sorry, I'm left-handed. 12 times 8 on your calculator. Cancel your last answer. 12 times 8 equals, and you get 96. So our answer is 96. Alright, let's go through them again in question 2. So solve the following equations. X divided by 3 equals 8. So you can write that out. X divided by 3 equals 8. And you look at that and you say, well, to get x on its own, I must get rid of the divide by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiply by 3. So you do that to both sides, because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So if we've got 3 and we divide by 3, that equals 1. So it cancels it out, because 1x is just x. So we get x equals 8 times 3 equals, some of you know this, but for those that don't, we've got 8 times 3 equals, and you get the answer 24. So, hopefully you're starting to understand this a bit better. Let's go to a multiplication. Let's go to the last one. That's 9 times x equals 63. So we'll write that out. 9 times x equals 63. We want to get x on its own, so we've got to get rid of the times 9. The opposite of multiplying by 9 is divide by 9. So we'll do that to both sides. Just remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 1x is just x. So we've got x equals 63 divided by 9. Once again, you can calculate that in your head, that's great. Otherwise, you use your calculator and you get 63 divided by 9 equals, and you get the answer 7. So your answer is 7. So that's it for that worksheet. Now you need to go on to the second worksheet.